Hello, you beautiful people, and welcome back to the next episode of the West Ham Save. I believe this is episode number 19. Is that right? 19? Yeah. I hope you're all doing well. I am not. For so many fucking reasons. Sorry for swearing so early on. So, we left off after these two terrible losses to Manchester City, and I told you so. We'll come back a hell of a lot longer on. We're going to start doing things where we're doing 3 episodes a season. We're going to get through seasons a little quicker. So I play them. Leave it for a couple of days. I come back and I go, right, let's get through, another month or so. Start playing. Do this game against Bournemouth and we lose 3-2 in the FA Cup 5th round to Bournemouth. Doubles from Salimakers and one from Solanke would put us straight down after just the first half, and late goals from Doku and Patton Daka were not enough to save us. We would then lose 1-0 to Arsenal in what was a pretty dogged performance from both sides. Could have gone either way, but in the end it was Arsenal who came out. So we lost 2 games. Thought, right, let's check my schedule. When's the next big game? What are we going to do? I was thinking obviously we'll do the Champions League. Let's see how long is that going to take, and boom, it's my next game. So we've only actually played 2 games. But that is what's going to happen now as we get into the latter end of this season. We're going to be moving around a whole lot quicker. So, yeah, we now have Atleti in Champions League, but having lost 4 games on the bounce, including to Bournemouth, which we should not be losing to, it's definitely fair to say we need to somehow bring this back. Now, I've done a little bit of scouting on Atleti because I had a bit of time to think. And they play, so you'll see here in our inbox. Oh yeah, Lewis Orford broke his leg, and I really like Lewis Orford, and I'm very upset about it because he is a very good player. I can hear like a ringing. I hope that's not on the recording. I don't know what that is. Shit, I think that's outside. Give me 2 seconds. I think I figured out. Okay. Well, even if it is outside, everything's locked, so there's not much more I can do. Anyway, yeah, we did some scouting. So this is our match preparation. We also got this, the opposition report, and a scout report. So this has been most of what I've been thinking about is the 4-2-2, this very narrow 4-4-2, what I'd call it at least. And they've got very attacking fullbacks. They've even got a fullback playing centre back in Reinildo. Like, it's not the greatest team defensively, if I'm being entirely honest. But I've been thinking, how do we attack this and have it make sense? So I've been thinking how to mark out these two. I've been thinking how to mark out these two. And we're obviously going to have to figure that out. But first, I think it's only fair we do look at some of these scouting reports here. So, they've had stronger overall. Morata and Felix are doing very good. Apparently his is fascinating, so he's got a decent conversion rate, but to be fair, it's pretty low. But he is... So, like, that's weird. Yeah, that is interesting. So this is, like, basically taking lots of shots and not scoring, so really low conversion rate. The further along is still low conversion rates. Sorry, is higher conversion rates but less shots. And this here is very high conversion, high shots. So he is attacking the high scoring clinical shooting role, but he's behind some who you'd call not the most clinical. So he's got about... I don't know why I can't actually click on his name. So his stats are coming out about 0.73 goals per 90, which is very, very good, if we're being entirely honest. Their pressing numbers, so they have a low percentage. Well, they've got like a mid-range amount of passes, per defensive action. they've got they've got a pretty low line of defence, and they let a lot of passes go, so it might be worth going quite slowly. They're conceding a lot of assists from like the wide areas, which I was thinking about. Low, so they've got like a low block, high pressing style. And something I obviously want to know is they're most vulnerable facing to 4-3-3, what we use. So what I've been thinking is to use these fullbacks a little bit more defensively. That to me screams out as the best decision. João Mario is back though, which leads to the question, do we just go with what is strongest, what has pretty much always worked, or do we go with something a little bit less? However, I do think that Kudish and Bowen on the wings is a good option, allowing Pats and Daka to lead the line, because I feel like it's going to be very important to try and utilise these wider areas. I do think that is going to be important. And for right now, I'm going to leave the fullbacks as is. The feeling being that they can maybe overlap and create a lot of trouble down these wide areas, and maybe the midfield can work together. But I'm also going to put Thomas Souček in the midfield, as Samu hasn't really hit like the highest of forms. He's been dependable, but for right now, I'm going to rely on Thomas Souček's experience and quality. They want us to play a little bit of a lower line of engagement, which makes sense with how fast the likes of Depay is. But yeah, I am going to agree with you there. Going to maybe drop off a little bit more and play a little bit of a mid block. Maybe we're changing too much. I'm hopeful though that we have been able to kind of slightly adapt this team as we head to the Metropolitano Stadium. Is it still the Wanda Metropolitano? Yeah, it's still the Wanda. Don't know why I'd question that. And let's hope we can get this win. If we don't, I feel like a lot of pressure is on the game in between these two to try and get a bit of morale. The squad's exactly as we expected it. Nothing has changed. Felix, Griezmann, Morata, Depay is an incredible front four. And to be honest, the entire team is so perfect. I do love this team. Like, I'm not going to try and lie to you all. I do really like this squad that Atleti build, and I love the way Atleti work as a team. It's quite similar to how we do it, where they try and sign players just before they hit their peaks, or those players who have those underlying stats who just aren't quite getting appreciated by the slightly bigger clubs. As it looks like this first half is going to end off without any real moments, and I'm fine with that. They want us to play for set pieces. For right now, I'm not going to change too much, but if we don't make any chances within this game, I do think it's fair to maybe try and change something around, as the first highlight of the game kicks off 53 minutes in. Reinaldo, Javi Galan, very, very good player. And he beats João Mario. This is why I wanted a bit more of a defensive fullback. João Felix blocked by Aitnori, and it falls right back to the Portuguese striker, who does score. And we're appealing for offside. I didn't see even what could be appealed. Let's find out. It's disallowed. Rodrigo Riquelme comes on. Very, very good player. Javi Galan. And it's going to be called offside because of Morata and Depay. And seeing as they were interfering with play there in front of the goalkeeper. Nothing coming right now from Pat and Daka. So I think we're going to make those changes, swing it around a little bit. And in comes Marcus Edwards, who we all know has the ability to bring something special out of a game where it feels like nothing's happening. And as I say that, I notice Jared Bowen's not having a great game. So I want to bring on Gonçalo Borges, who at nearly £45 million, we need him to start making something happen. And there's no better game to do that than in one of our biggest games of the season. And still not much happening, but here we go. It's a corner kick, Ward-Prowse. I know Scott McSauce is somewhere about. It almost went to the head of Aitnori. Marcus Edwards takes it down, pull it across, pulls it back to James Ward-Prowse, who scores his 9th goal of the season. James Ward-Prowse puts us ahead. It came from a corner. It's not often you see Ward-Prowse scoring from the result of a corner. A good header away, but we kept hold of the ball. We maintained pressure, and no one came out to answer the run of James Ward-Prowse. And we lead 1-0 in one of our most important games of the season. Samu is going to now come on as a bit more of a defensive midfield block. Aitnori is doing well, but a little tired. I could bring him off. I'm not too sold on that. We don't really have players who can come on. I'm just going to make that one change, hold things out. I don't want to change up the entire squad right now. Koke, Rodrigo Kelme, João Mario with a beautiful tackle. Tadibo leads this off to Marcus Edwards. The ex-Sporting Lisbon and Tottenham man brings the ball forward. And now James Ward-Prowse finds Thomas Souček. Aitnori on this left-hand side brings the ball forward, lays it off to Samu. Inside to João Mario, goes for goal. Great save there by Jan Oblak, who pushes it towards the woodwork. Not bad at all. Aitnori holds things up, finds Ward-Prowse. This could still happen. Oh, João Mario just wide, and it's actually going to be classed as a great save by Jan Oblak. João Mario's overlapping runs there, clearly doing a lot of heavy lifting. Back in by Ward-Prowse, headed away. This time Donny van der Beek tries to answer, and you can see how much this squad has weakened for Atleti. They don't have the ability to bring players off the bench maybe the same way we do. As Yeremy Doku is going to now lead the line for us, and Brahim Diaz or Hayden Hackney. It's going to have to be Hayden Hackney to come on. I love Diaz, but I'm trusting in the youngster. The signing that maybe you all looked at and said, why? I'm proving to you right now why. But we lose the ball there to Reinildo. Koke. Reinildo again. Larola. I believe that's Pavlo Larola, formerly of Porto? Gonçalo Borges on the board. Doesn't matter. Larola with a good tackle. I also want to say Vallecano, but it might be just getting him mixed up with other players. Here is Jimenez on the board, the Uruguayan forward to Marcus Llorente. Javi Galan. Llorente. This is very nice football from Atleti. Very relaxing. It's Rodrigo Riquelme who scores, but they are calling it back as they feel that João Felix was offside. Now, was he? 89 minutes in. The goal's disallowed yet again. 2 big chances for Atleti. Not once has it truly worked out. Lovely ball over the top by Llorente, but our Highland still pays it off. We have perfectly adapted this team to counteract the work of Atleti, and Atletico de Madrid fall in the first leg at home at the Wanda Metropolitano. 1-0. West Ham United have the chance to truly go on and be an historic season. Despite throwing it all away towards the end of the season, we are now having the chance to bring it back. A huge goal by James Ward-Prowse, and we are doing everything right. As we move into the game against Leicester, we won't play it on screen, but we will be back for the second leg at the London Stadium to see if we can go on into the quarterfinals of the Champions League. And we are back for the second leg. But first, let's talk about what happened against Leicester. We won 4-1 pretty convincingly. The biggest news, Jean-Claude Todibo scored. And you may think, oh, cool, Todibo scored. No. He has 10 goals. 3 of them, obviously, coming in the Carabao Cup. 7 in the league. he has been a revelation from corner kicks. So I'm very happy that Petr Rakov also scored 2. Very excited for his breakout next season. Of course, we signed him in January for just £19.5 million, already valued at around 40 million. So we're talking about a very, very good player here. We've definitely bought the right guy from RB Salzburg. And that leaves us with this team. Rakov is unregistered, otherwise I'd have him. I've put Marcus Edwards in on the left as Gonçalo Borges continues to struggle. And he also doesn't have the fitness needed. However, Nayef Aguirre will continue to play. We're not going to rely on Anel Ahmedovich or Mavropanos just yet for that. I'm going to stick with them as I'm a big fan. And I want this team to be as good as possible. I've kept it the balanced. I've took away the focus to play on the lefts. And I am going to play for set pieces. However, with Mohamed Kudus leading the line, I've also decided to put us on low crosses. I feel like that is a good little mix of ideas. As the last 5 games, Jarrod Bowen on a 6.48, you could argue maybe now is the time to start Marcus Edwards on the right wing. But I'm going to stick with Bowen at least for now. Let's just hope things do work out the way I'm hoping they will as we look to progress through in the Champions League. We, of course, cannot concede. We just have to Atletico Madrid. The team are relaxed. They're in good form. The morale is starting to lift after that atrocious time against Manchester City. Let's hope that this is the game, as they have taken Morata out for Samuel Amarodian, who they recently signed from Alaves. Whilst a very exciting young player, I believe one of the ones we looked at signing, we don't fear him anywhere near as much as we do Morata, who of course we literally saw one of the more clinical strikers in all of La Liga. The first chance though will come from an Atleti free kick. This is the opposite of what we needed. Memphis Depay steps over it and the Dutch forward hits it just wide. That was definitely a concern there. Could have been a goal. By the way, for those wondering if we have improved the team, especially in goals, Trubin doesn't even have to answer to that header. He keeps a clean sheet tonight. He will match the record of clean sheets David De Gea had all of last season, of course, in much fewer games. So, clearly something's working, but Kudus has picked up an injury, so it will be the reintroduction of Patson Daka. A little too early for my likings, but we all know what Patson Daka can do, and he has been known to come up so well in the clutch times. However, his last involvement could be a goal. No, he hits it off the post, utilising his weaker right foot. Still not over yet though, as Kudus releases Ait Nouri on this left hand side, pulls it back across, and Kudus is brought down. And they're going to let that go out for a goal kick. No even inquisition on a possible penalty. That looked to me like a dead set pen. Pretty good last involvement there for Mohamed Kudus though. Got to be happy with that. Anyway, the game continues as ex-Chelsea man Malang Sarr. It's played very calmly, but Ward-Prowse picks the pocket of Koke. Here we go. Edwards driving down this left hand side, pulls it across. Daka just wide, hits that one into the side netting. But twice now we have really knocked on the door of Atleti. We're creating all the right chances here, but the half will end 0-0. It's not bad though, as we may as well take off the idea of low crosses now. I don't know what else you'd really want to change though. We are playing very well. We are the better team, it feels like. Maybe we go a little bit more cautious. But I feel like we are actually pretty well evenly balanced, which is why you'd stick on balanced. Bowen's got a little bit of an injury, but he's having one of his best games in recent memory right now. Ward-Prowse having a great game, but you keep him on because he can be the deciding factor when it all comes down to it. I think it is going to be a substitution for McTominay though. I think it's fair to say he needs to sit out this one as we try and hold on to this In comes Samu to play that central midfielder on defend duty. We may as well make one more substitution. And to be fair, it looks like Thomas Suchek needs to come off. Maybe that's a chance for Anel Ahmedozich to slot in as the ball winner midfielder. Perhaps not the greatest option, but it looks to me like a solid one. This game's still fluttering, and Ward-Prowse with a free kick just over the bar. Both sides have troubled from set pieces, but not being able to quite get that last moment, as Mavropanos will come on for Joao Mario, play a little bit more defensive, and Edwards off, Gonçalo Borges on. And whilst he hasn't had the greatest run, we still trust in him to at least do something, as it looks like this game is starting to reach its clear anticlimactic end as Samu dispossesses the midfield. Ward-Prowse to Gonçalo Borges. What a time to make your first real statement. Out wide to Aitnori. The ex-Wolves man brings it forward. Pulls across and it's Patson Daka. Just wide. Had he have scored that, it would have been game over. Instead, there's still life left in the Spanish side here. With 5 minutes of added time, you feel that anything could happen. You really do. Bowen in. Mavropanos and Todibo both rising, unable to get the header. It's back for a corner kick. We are doing very well at just slowly trickling down this time. Bowen in once again from this corner kick. And it will be towards the near post, you'd assume. Mavropanos! Konstantinos Mavropanos! Off the bench, and it is game, set, and match. Wow, I don't think anyone thought that was going to be a goal. The way FM has been in the past, we knew that was a dead highlight, but not anymore. 1-0, and it will be a repeat of the first leg. This time, though, so convincing in our victory at 2.4 XG. We could have scored 4 or 5 goals, we felt like, in that game. In the end, it would only have to be the one. But we progressed through in an amazing victory over Atleti. And you don't want to start looking too far into the sun. You might get blind. But there's definitely a clear sunset coming up. And it is oh so beautiful as we progress through from the round of 16 and the fairy tale song continues. Wow. So that leaves us in this position here. In the league, we are in 4th place. Narrowly. We are only 5 points off of 2nd, but we are 9 points off of 1st. However, it must be said, only 1 point ahead of 6th place. So anything can happen still in the league, and we have a pretty tough run of fixtures. We face number 1 team, Tottenham, number 6, Aston Villa, whilst we have an 8th league position, Bournemouth, who have already beaten us once, Liverpool, one of the main contenders for the title, and then finally we finish out the season with a bit of luck as we face Southampton, Leeds, Brighton and Everton. But we need to survive these next 4 games before we can even think about them 4. It must be said as well, the quarterfinals in between Liverpool, not a tasty run of games, and of course that will be what we come back for. So we're going to finish off this season. By the end of the week, you will know how we progress here and how we progress down here. Of course, if we go into the semis, that is what we'll be watching, and then we'll finish it off with the final next week. Do we dare to dream? Let's at least look at the results. So far it looks like Milan are taking Liverpool to school. Manchester City were knocked out thanks to the work of Bayern Munich over aggregate, and Barcelona confidently dispatched of Porto, and a narrow victory there for Marseille to overcome Inter Milan on aggregate, but a 4-1 victory at the San Siro, not a good result for them to take. We also have draws between Dortmund and Madrid, Napoli and PSG, though it looks like Manchester United will be making sure we don't have to face top of the table Tottenham. There's a hell of a lot going on, but it looks like we will not have to be facing 2-time winners Manchester City, so there's a bit of hope left. Anyway, I'll see you all for the next episode. Thank you all for watching. how good is this West Ham side?